Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think it should fit the flow of an upper arm very well. It was designed to go with this part being kind of on the deltoid or shoulder muscle, and then this going across the bicep towards the elbow here for right arm, upper arm tattoo. And I love the swirly lines. They should fit really nicely as well. With that being said, let's get to the explanation of how to read this design. So this script is typically read starting at the bottom and then going counterclockwise. And if in a bigger sentence like this, it doesn't start directly at the bottom because, well, there is no bottom counterclockwise flow in this because it kind of goes bottom clockwise. Then you find a start marker, which is this design here, this little like bracket containing a circle, because that tells you the direction of the flow of this sentence as well as the starting point for this design. So we have a sentence circle here first before this chain of words here. So that is the reading order of this design, and it is done pretty atypically or not normally, so that's why I have the starting circle here, which doesn't normally show up in my designs but is a really cool feature of the script. So starting circle here. And here's our first word. So letters. Letters are typically made by combining these stems with these modifiers, but vowels, like these little guys, are smaller circles, and this word only has the one vowel on it. There's another vowel pretty close to it, this A here. Looks like it could be part of this word, but it's actually a tiny bit closer to this word, so it counts here. Plus, when we're working with small words like this, context pretty easily tells you that this is just the word I, not AI. So the A goes to this word and the I goes to this word. Oh, eyes. So eyes are like E's but have a line going towards the middle of the word circle. So here's the word circle, here's the vowel stem circle, and then the line for the I goes towards the middle of that. So I. Our next word is here. The bottom of the word circle is here. So our first letter is that A I talked about earlier. And A's, again, little circles, but they're outside the word circle instead of on the line, like E's, I's, and U's. So I, A, and then our next letter of this word is this one here. There's a circle inside the word circle, so we're in this consonant stem, and then its modifiers are these 1, 2, 3 lines sticking off of it. So we have 3 lines here on our modifier row, and we combine that with our consonant stem, and that is an M. So this word is am. Here's another A, which again looks like it could be part of this word, but is a tiny smidgen closer. Plus, this is the word am, and this is the word and they're all relatively simple short words, so it's pretty easy to figure out where the A's go. So, am, and then our next word, A, and then we have an N. It's a circle inside the word circle with 1 line. So, just like the M, except with 1 line instead of 3 lines. And then our D is a deep divot, like this, with 3 dots. And I should also note the comma here. So this is our sentence circle, and there's punctuation on the sentence circle. There's also a little broken sentence circle here, where I have another comma. So I am, and then a comma, and then and our next word is here. It starts with an A here, which is, again, I mean, it's directly in line with that. I could scooch it up a tiny smidgen, but I wanted it to be directly in between these guys to make like a little swirly thing. Anyway, this A is with this word, and it is an A first. And then we have this letter, which is tricky because it has these lines passing through it. And lines going through a letter don't count. They count when they end on a letter stem. So these lines are part of this letter, not this letter. So this letter, its modifiers are these dots, which even though they're following the curve of this letter already has lines on it. It's got 1, 2, 3 lines ending on it. So you can't have both dots in lines, so these dots have to go somewhere. So they go towards this letter. So 3 dots, circle inside the word circle is an L. And then we have a shallow divot with 1, 2 lines, so that would be a W. Here we have another A outside the word circle, just like all those A's, except this one looks like it's kind of inside a circle because it's inside this line modifier coming from that, but it's a line modifier, not a word circle, because this is the word circle. And then we have a letter stem on the line of the word circle, which is in this row, and there are 1, 2 dots with that, so that would be a Y. And then we have this shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 lines on it, so that is an S. So always, continuing around, here is a shallow divot with 2 lines. I did these 2 lines much like those 2 lines. It's okay for lines to wrap back and end on the same letter they started on. That is fine, so long as they're not complete circles. You can tell that they are lines, and these are not, because they have little chonkers taken out of them. So W, and then we have another I, and now we have a double letter. Because it's a double line on the circle, that means it is a double letter. And because these lines are the same thickness, that means it's the same letter twice. So we have 2 L's. Double L because 3 dots, just like those 3 dots on that L. So W-I double L is will. B, here's a B, no modifiers on a deep divot, and then an E. And here's another comma. And then here's a TH, no modifiers, circle on the line. And then we have an E, so the. And our last word here, inside an inner sentence circle. So for sentences, you read outer circle and then inner circle. So will be the, and then here we have our first letter of this inner word. It's an O, little guy inside the word circle. P has 2 lines, so 2 lines, circle inside the word circle. And then we have a shallow divot for T. And then we have an I line going towards the middle, and an M is a big circle inside the word circle. And that one has 3 lines ending on it. This one, and this one. This third one passes through and ends on another I here, which is going towards the middle of the word circle, before curving over to this S. And we have a stacked stem here, just like those 2, except this one is thinner than this one. So line thickness does matter for legibility here. So this thin one has 1, 2, 3 lines ending on it, so that would be an S and then a T. And this is the period on this sentence circle on the inside of this outer sentence circle. So O-P-T-I-M-I-S-T. So altogether, it says start, I am, comma, and always will be, comma, the optimist, period. And then our next part of the sentence, following the flow from the start, is here. And here's our first word there. Here's another T-H-E, just like that, the T-H-E, and then we have a deep divot, 1, 2 lines on that, so that would be an H. O, P has 1, 2 lines ending on it, so that would be P. E on the line, just like that E or that E, and then we have a shallow divot with 3 dots, that's an R, so Hopper, and then O, F with 1, 2, 3 lines on that F, and then we have an F, A, and then 3 dots on that R. Again, even though these dots get close to the F, you can't have both lines in dots, so that dots have to go with the R. So far, I didn't put the hyphen between far and flung, just because I kind of like this open space here instead of having the 3 lines connecting them or coming off of anywhere on a sentence circle-y looking thing. So there is no hyphen between far and flung, but I like the looks for it better than adding in extra filler in here, which is where I'd put it, but I didn't want, so 3 parallel lines would be a hyphen, and they would connect from the sentence circle where they would go on the word, which would be here, but that would make it way too busy, and I liked the mirroring of these lines and those lines. So far, and then flung, 1, 2, 3 lines on that F. This one ends on the line itself of the line modifier, which means it doesn't count, but we have the thin one here, that thick one, and that thin one, so that's 3, just like that. I did these F's in the same way. And then we have another L, 1, 2, 3 dots on that L. Again, we can't have dots on a line stem, which this one already has 3 lines. So L, U, line going outwards. Oh, also, this is a vowel enclosed inside a consonant. So it's a little circle inside that consonant stem. And we can tell that they aren't 2 stacked letters because they're the same thickness and they have different modifiers. And that's also like noticeably smaller, and it's not like the same line. Like those 2 lines are closer together, and these are like a big circle and a little circle. It's just a little visual difference showing the 2. Anyway, just like here is a L-E instead of an L-L, which would again look like that. So L-U, and then we have an N-G. It's a circle on the line of the word circle with 3 lines. So F-L-U-N-G, so flung. And then we have H-O-P-E-S, 1, 2, 3 lines on that S. So yeah, here's the hoper of far-flung hopes. And then that little partial sentence circle I mentioned earlier with a comma on it. between the hoper of far-flung hopes and then the and, A, N with one line on it, and then a D. And it's okay that these consonant stems overlap because this doesn't look like a vowel because it is too big to be a vowel, plus it has a line modifier. And if it were inside the word circle, it couldn't have a line modifier because then it would be like in the O position. So yeah, A, N, and then 1, 2, 3 dots on the D, just like this A, N, and D. Here's another the, THE, just like those thes here. Here we have dreamer, 1, 2, 3 dots. R has 1, 2, 3 dots. E, A outside the word circle, M with 1, 2, 3 lines. E inside that word circle, and then R. So the E is inside the middle of that stem, just like that U, except with no lines on it. And I'm really happy with how I made this like kind of speckle of dots look kind of like some stars in there. It's hard to get a big kind of scattershot pattern like that with these 3 dots here, these vowels and consonants, and then those 3 dots, and then these 3 dots, and then those 3 dots, and then vowels, all in the same pattern. Yay! So anyway, the dreamer of 1, 2, 3 lines on that F, 1, 2, 3 lines. Just like these ofs, except done a little bit differently, where I have this line basically passing through an ending on the stem, 1, 2, 3 lines, count there, of, and then we have our next word, I, line going towards the middle. Here's a stack stem of different letters, just like this stack stem of different letters, where we have this thin one with, if we count them, 1, 2, 3 lines on it, so that would be an M. Then we have this thick one with 1, 2 lines. So these lines passing through all just pass through and don't count. But we have an M and then a P. Then we have an R, 1, 2, 3 dots. O, attach that R stem like that, like a bead on a string. And then we have a B, A, B, L with 3 dots, E, so improbable. And then our last word, D with 3 dots, R with 3 dots, E, A, M. And then this last S has those 3 lines ending there. So these lines all pass through everything until they end here on this last little archy bit. So I could see the tattoo artist ending them here, or like putting this archy bit attached to there, which, I mean, it still makes sense, but it would be wrong and I would know. But anyway, so that's that design. That's how you read it. And like I mentioned in the call earlier, you can squash and stretch this and it will still be legible so long as you don't break any lines or don't have lines not end where they're supposed to end. But yeah, I really like how this turned out and I hope you like it too. Bye.